Hi there, welcome back to our science preview, and in the continuation of our discussion about the invertebrates or animals with the absence of the backbone, let's move on with some other groups under this invertebrates. So we're done with the mollusk, with the echinoderm, and even with the poriferans. What about this? So therefore, let me start with our objectives. We need to learn and identify the characteristics of Cnidarian, Annelid, the Nematode, and the Platyhelminthes. And aside from identifying their characteristics, we are going to give examples of this. Cnidarians, Annelid, Nematode, and Platyhelminthes. There's a lot of examples, but I'm just going to give you some of those examples. So let's start with the first group, and that group are the Cnidarians. They are called Cnidarians because they are somewhat known as stinging animals. So why they are called stinging animals? Because one of their characteristics is that they have the presence of the stinging cells here. You see it? Yeah, the one that captures their prey. And these stinging cells do have somehow chemicals that paralyzes their prey, so easy to get those prey. Next, if we're going to look at their body, they are made of tissue, kindly. And after that, you'll see that they are somewhat round in shape. So if we're going to look at the both side of their body, they are radially symmetrical. So whatever they have on the other side is the same with the other side of their body. In terms of habitat, they are adapted to aquatic. They are aquatic animals. Some of them you will see them floating in the water, and some of them are really attached on the ground, or they are in the bodies of water, like this two. So the best example, we have the jellyfish, and this one is a sea anemone. Based on their body figure or general forms of their body, some of them are in a polyp type. And I want you to recognize and see or observe where the stinging cells is. So if that is a polyp, then the stinging cells, or there you go, are somewhat facing downward, or it is located at the bottom of their head. And if we call it a medusa, then you will see that the stinging cells are on top of their head, like the sea anemone here. So jellyfish is the best example for a polyp type of body form, and the sea anemone is the best example for a medusa type body form. There you go. Next to the Cnidarians, let's talk about these flatworms or under the platyhelminths. These flatworms, somewhat, they are in two groups. Some of them are free living, like you see here in the animation. They live in the water, they are free living, and some of them depends on their host, and that is parasitic. That's the difference between the two. And under parasitic, I have here in the group of Cestoda, the tapeworms, and in Trematoda, I have the flukes here. They are both parasites, and the best example for free living is this one, the Turbellarian. And based on their body characteristics, look at this, they have thin, flat body. You will see that they have head region, and they do have organs also, or internal organs in their body. But they don't have digestive system like human self. Well, the body is so simple. These flatworms, they feed like a sea star. If you are familiar with a sea star, they have extruding pharynx here as part of their mouth, extruding outside their body. And this one secretes enzymes to digest their prey. But then again, they don't have a digestive system. They just have this mouth and pharynx. not a complete one. So examples of worms like this are the planaria, the flukes, tapeworms. In terms of another kind of worms, we're done with the flat one. If the body is round, then they are under the nematode. The reason why they are called roundworms. Their body is smooth, yes, and segmented, and then they are usually long, and they have this thin round body figure, like this one in the animation. Some of them are really parasites. You will see them attached to any parts of the plants, body of the plants, and some of them are really living in the animal's tissue. They are parasitic. They depend on the host. Like this, I only or can only recognize this one. The pinworms that lives in the anus, and some ascaris that lives in the intestine of the animals. Next are the annelids. What makes it different from the nematode is that these worms are segmented worms. Why segmented worms? Look carefully on their body feature. They have this kind of ring appearance in their body, and those are segments. They are divided into many segments. And if you're going to lay them flat on the surface, their body is bilateral or bilaterally symmetrical. They have two openings for getting of food, and of course, like in the alimentary canal, they have the mouth, they have ends where they have to eliminate the waste. So this is the head part of their body, and the paiky do. Yeah. And I only have two examples of these annelids. The best examples that I have here are the earthworms and the leeches. Then therefore, those are the four other invertebrates. Remember, we discussed the stinging animals, or what we know as Cnidarians. We have the platyhelminthes, or the flatworms. We have the nematodes, or the roundworms, and the last one are the annelids, or the segmented worms. I hope you learned something, and I'm gonna leave you with this question. What do you think? Are these invertebrates beneficial to our environment and to humankind? Let me hear your answer on our next meeting. Thank you very much, and this is it for the last episode of Invertebrates. Bye-bye.